Good morning students. Today we are going to see the topic India population, trade, communication and trade. Population is the important aspect. The study on human population is one of the most important aspects in geography of any region. The human population has many components but the most fundamental are its number, composition, distribution and density. The total number of people residing in a country at a specified period of time is called the population of that country. India is the second most populous country in the world, next only to China. India covers nearly 2.4% of land area of the world, but the home is of about 17.5% of the world population. The next topic which we are going to discuss is about census. Population census is the total process of collecting, compiling, analyzing or otherwise disseminating demographic, economic and social data pertaining at a specific time of all persons in a country or a well-defined part of a country. Next we are going to discuss about the term population distribution. Refers to the way of the people are spaced over the earth's surface. The distribution of population in India is quite uneven because of the vast variation and in the availability of resources. Next is density of population. Population density is a better measure of understanding the variation in distribution of population. The average density of population of India is 382 persons per square kilometer. India is one of the most thickly populated 10 countries of the world. The most densely populated state of India is Bihar. This is very important one-mark question. Please note it down. And the state with least population density is Arunachal Pradesh. That is very less population. Among the union territories, Delhi is the densely populated one with 11,297 persons per square kilometer, while Andaman and Nicobar Islands have the lowest density of population. The next topic is population growth and change. The growth rate of population is an important democratic feature. It is only helps in understanding the population change that a society has undergone in the past, but also helps in predicting the future. We have to understand the population growth is, we have to understand population growth refers to the change in the number of inhabitants of a country, territory during a specific period of time. The next topic which we are going to discuss about is transportation. Transport is a system in which passengers and goods are carried from one place to another. Transport system is considered as the lifeline of our country. It is a very important means of transport. Next is means of transport. In that we are going to discuss about the land routes, that is roadways. Transport network in India is one of the most important components of infrastructure and it is the essential for economic development of a country, especially for a large country like India. India has a good transport network of roadways, railways, airways and waterways, providing necessary connectivity between different parts of the country. Next we are going to discuss about the subtopic roadways in transportation. Roadways plays an important role in carrying goods and passengers for short, medium and long distances. It is highly suitable for short services. It is comparatively easy and cheap to construct and maintain roads. Roads are the most universal mode of transport. Indian roads are cost efficient. This is very important one-mark question. You have to note it down. Next is national highways. Among roads, classification of roads, in that it is divided into national highways, next is state highways, district roads, rural roads, border roads, expressways, international highways. In that first we are going to discuss about national highways. National highways form the important system of road transportation in India. These highways are running through length and breadth of the country, connecting capital of states, major ports, rail junctions, industrial and tourist centers. So it is connected with all the parts of the states. The longest national highway is NH7, which runs from Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh to Kanyakumari in Tamil Nadu, covering a distance of 2369 km. This is also important one mark, my dear students. Note it down. The shortest national highway is NH 47A, which runs from Ernakulam to Kochi Port, Wellington Island, covering a distance of 6 km. So we have discussed about the national highways up to now. Next we shall move on to state highways. State highways then are usually roads that link important cities, towns and district headquarters within the state and connect them with national highways or highways of neighboring states. Next is district roads. District roads provide connectivity between the district and taluk headquarters with the state highways and national highways. Next is rural roads. Rural roads connectivity is a key component of rural development. This is also a very important feature because it connects all the villages to bring all the products from one place to another. These roads are vital for providing links in the rural areas. It links the different villages with their neighboring towns. Next is border roads. These are the roads of strategic importance in border areas. Border Roads Organization has constructed world's highest road joining Chandigarh and Leh in Ladakh. This road runs at an average altitude of 4,270 meters. Next is expressways. These are multi-lane, good quality highways for high-speed traffic because nowadays we have to understand we are moving up very quickly. For that purpose, expressways are very much important. Next is international highways. These are the roads that link India with neighboring countries for promoting harmonious relationship with them. The next subtopic is railways. Indian railway system is the main artery of the country's inland transport. Railways cater to the needs of large-scale movement of traffic both for freight and passengers. Railways help the commercialization of the agriculture sector by facilitating the quick movement of perishable goods. Its role in transporting raw material to industries and finished goods to market is invaluable. For operations and management, the Indian Railways is organized into 16 zones. That is Northern Railways, Northern Western Railway, next is Central Railway, Northeastern Railway, Northeast Frontier Railway, Eastern Railway, East Coast Railway, East Central Railway, West Central Railway, Central Railway, Western Railway, Southern Railway, South Central Railway, Southeastern Railway, Southwestern Railway and Southeast Central Railway. These are the 16 zones of railways. The next subdivision in railways are Konkan Railways and Metro Railways in India. These are the two important subdivisions. First we shall discuss about Konkan Railway. One of the most important achievement of Indian Railways has been the construction of Konkan Railway in 1998. It connects Roha in Maharashtra and Mangalore in Karnataka and the track measures 760 kilometers. It is considered as an engineering marvel and it is also one of the important feature. The rail link between Banihal in Jammu region and Quazigund in Kashmir Valley was opened in 2013. This rail line passes under the Pirpanjal range through a 11.2 kilometer long tunnel. Next we shall see about metro railways in India. There are 8 cities with metro railway connectivity in India. They are Kolkata, West Bengal, Chennai, Tamil Nadu, Delhi, Bangalore, Karnataka, Gurgaon, Haryana, Mumbai, Maharashtra, Jaipur, Rajasthan and Kochi, Kerala. The metro in Kolkata is the first one in India. It also called as Mass Rapid Transit System. This is also one of the important one word, my dear children. Note it down. As of September 2018, India has 507 km of operational metro lines and 381 stations. The next subtopic is pipeline transport. Pipelines provide a very convenient mode of transport to connect oil and natural gas fields, refineries and to the markets. In the past, these were used to transport water to cities and industries. Now, it is laid up through difficult terrain as well as underwater. It ensures steady supply of goods and reduces the transshipment and losses, and delays are the major advantages of pipeline transport. The next subtopic is waterways. A waterway is an important mode of transport for both passenger and cargo traffic in India. It is the oldest and also the cheapest means of transport and most suitable for carrying heavy and bulky material from one country to another. It is a fuel efficient and eco-friendly mode of transport. The water transport is of two types: inland waterways and ocean waterways, sea routes. First, we are going to discuss about inland waterways. India has an extensive network of inland waterways in the form of rivers, canals, lakes and backwaters. The total navigable length of our country is 14,500 km, out of which about 5,200 km length of rivers and 4,000 km of length of canals can be used by mechanized crafts. Next is oceanic routes. Oceanic routes play an important role in the transport sector of India's economy. About 95% of India's foreign trade by volume of 70% of value moves through ocean routes. Coastal shipping plays an important role in transport of bulk goods in India. Shipping is not only the most economical mode of transport, it is also an environmental friendly mode. There are 13 major and 200 minor or intermediate ports in India. The major ports are administered by the central government and minor ports are managed and administered by various state governments. The major ports on the east coast are Kolkata, including Haldia Dock, Paradeep, Visakhapatnam, Chennai, Ennore and Tuticorin. The major ports on the west coast are Kandla, Mumbai, Navseva, Jawaharlal Nehru Port, New Mangalore, Marmago and Cochin. All these places are very important for map locating places. Note it down. Next is we are going to discuss about air transport. Airways are the quickest, costliest, most modern and comfortable means of transport. Air transport facilitates connectivity on a national, regional and international scale. It has made an accessibility easier by connecting difficult terrains like high mountains and sandy deserts. It is subdivided into domestic airways, that is, and international airways. Domestic airways fly within the boundaries of a country and international airways connect major cities of the world. Indian Airlines provides the domestic air service and Air India provides international air service. Finally, we have come to the conclusion session. The above discussed topics are very important. My dear children, go through it thoroughly. Thank you.